Yeah, yeah. In your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We is them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast just like cruiserweight action. In your house is the perfect distraction. Rumpus in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smoke. What is up, guys? What is cracking? It's the Con-Man, and I am in your house. And you guys already know the vibes. Anytime we slide on through, we're here to give you that work when it comes to this professional wrestling business. And guys, it is Sunday. And guys, it is another glorious Sunday here. I can see outside my window. It's a sunny day. It's a wonderful day. We just came off of SmackDown, and we just came off the 4th of July. I had a good time chilling with my family, cooking out, and then just chilled out after that. I ate so much, y'all. I had to just chill out. I was chilling out in the bed. Then I turned SmackDown on, enjoyed a good watch of SmackDown. Usually I have work the next day, but like I said on the previous episode, I'm on vacation this week. So I was just in my vibe, doing my thing, just kicking it. It was a great night. And man, what happened the next day is that we had a lot of back and forth and talk in our Discord over SmackDown. You guys need to check it out. It was very active.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was very active. You guys need to check out our Discord, everything that goes down in there. And man, of course I'm talking SmackDown, and we're gonna dig deep into it. But I can't talk SmackDown without my man who does his thing over on SmackDown. He hangs out in his room. He reviews and previews SmackDown. He's the blue-eyed villain himself, the Grunmeister. What's up, man?
Yo, what is up? SmackDown was very interesting. We'll definitely get into that. But, dude, we got Evolution next weekend, Saturday night's main event,
Man.
NXT Bash at the Beach next week. Clash in Paris is coming up, and SummerSlam. This is going to be busy time for WWE.
That's
Yeah.
2 weeks attention for you, bud. I'll see you at 4.
Oh man, we got
DC
my
principal.
man OG Tony. He's in the chat right now. He's saying my ribs was looking good. Hey man, you should come on over. I will grill out again, bro. I enjoyed it. I had a great time, and yeah, I would love to feed the homies. We gotta have an IYH grill out some point. That would be amazing. I'll be on the grill, and we could talk all things wrestling. That would be amazing. But you know, we have a lot of things. You guys hearing those drops in the background? You guys are seeing the new background, the new vibe. That's because of our guy who does his thing on Mondays, then he gets extreme on Thursdays. Producer of the show, that's the voice, Josh Joseph. What is up, man?
I've spread so many fucking rumors. My favorite part about rumors, nobody verifies shit.
That's very true, and you can see those rumors in our Discord that I set off about Grun. Grun is usually my favorite target because, well, secret time, I think we were brothers. I really do. I think I'm the older brother. We have that friend brotherly relationship. So come join us on Discord. It's a fun time. But I'm
Yes, it is.
so glad to be here with you, Household, and I cannot wait to talk about wrestling. So let's get into it, guys.
Yes, sir. We're going to get into it. Like my man Grun was saying, we have a heavy weekend that is coming up for wrestling. We just had the 4th of July this past week. Then after that, I mean, everybody's just kind of chilling. No big time wrestling shows or anything like that. But, you know, in your house, we keep on going. We keep giving you that work. And we're going to look ahead to Evolution. We're going to look ahead to Saturday night's main event and add in anything that we can add in. But before we do that, we got to talk some things SmackDown. But, you know, we were there in the green room backstage before, you know, our show prep that we usually do every single show that makes this show what it is. And that's, one of the hottest podcasts in the Midwest, for the last 6 years, because we do things like show prep and come together. And we started talking about some of these possible signings for WWE, and it was something that Voice had brought up. There was a few names, and I've seen them circulating around Facebook, circulating around X, circulating around, a little bit of Instagram, but mainly X. When I go for when I go for deep cut rumors, that's where I normally go is X. And some names came up that have some WWE interest, and I wanted to get some of you guys out there in the household, and of course my guys over here on the panel, some thoughts about these. So I'm gonna name these names, and then I'm gonna give it over to whoever I decide to give it up to. Probably Voice. So start with Voice. Names that are rumored to be coming over to WWE, or at least have drawn interest from WWE, or share, or its mutual interest. Britt Baker, the Private Party tag team, if you guys aren't familiar, and Danhausen. And from the three acts that I just said, Danhausen's name seems to be the most hottest when it comes to a possibility of what's of possibly coming to the company. I know this is something we talked about before we actually went on the air. Voice, what are some of your thoughts about these possible signings? I know you have a lot of interest in one of them in particular. Where are you at?
Yeah, I mean, Cat's not out of the bag. Everybody knows it. I'm a huge Danhausen fan, and I think he would be a great piece in the puzzle of WWE. But I also think everybody named in there. Britt Baker, love Britt Baker. Could not like I know she has her own profession. She does her own thing outside of wrestling,
All right.
but I still think she's a draw. I still think that name has some sizzle to it. And tell me you wouldn't want to see a Charlotte Flair Britt Baker match.
Yeah, give it to
Damn,
me.
I want to see it.
damn.
And I don't want to see Charlotte Flair matches, but I want to see that one because
Yeah,
I know what Britt Baker can bring to a ring, and I think right there that's the type of talent Charlotte needs to be aligning herself with. It's
I like
somebody
it.
who's going to have a straight up match with you. We're going to have those moments where we applaud because of the chain wrestling, of the mat wrestling. It's going to be a fun time. And I think she will be able to bring something out of Charlotte that is missing right now. Private Party, tell me that wouldn't be a fun fucking tag team in this tag team division. Tell
Oh, it
me
would.
it
Easy.
would be a shot of adrenaline to the Raw tag team. I know we've
Yes.
talked about it. Even Olajuwon has said it. The
Yeah.
Raw tag team is on fucking life support right now. Dude, dude, dude. We need to fix it. We need to make it something. And I believe this tag team could do that. It would be a fun thing. And tell me you wouldn't want to see him up against Pretty Deadly for
Come on, bro.
something just to start it off, that little taste, and then you come into Phantasma. Why wouldn't we want to see that? Why wouldn't we want to see? I mean, look, I'm watching right now the tag match with Jacob Fatu, Jim, and going against Solo and Cobb.
Mateo. Yeah, Jay.
This is what I want to see now. I want to see this because now I'm interested in, is this side of the family going to accept Jacob? Because when he first was talked about, they wanted nothing to do with him.
Supposed to stay away from him.
You're supposed to stay away from him. So for them to even be in the talks, and honestly, Danhausen's the one I've heard the most about, and that I've seen others that are associated with WWE talk about. So for them to be talking about it, for it to be a thing, it's either a big swerve or we're soon to have this very, very nice but very evil man in our backstages, and I'm all for it. I want it. I want to see this. I want to see all three of these people, or all three of these characters, including the tag team, into one central area that we get to see, because all of these everybody being talked about has been dropped by AEW in some way or another.
Yeah. Yeah, and they deserve a chance to be a really good act, and I do believe that they will. We're gonna get some Grun's thoughts, but before we do that, I'm gonna go to the chat real quick because I just want to make sure we're acknowledging the chat. They're getting hot in there. We got OG Tony saying WWE seems rushed to me right now.
I've heard
I
that.
I absolutely agree with you, OG. I think you're making a lot of sense. And yeah, they need to slow their roll. We could definitely pick up on that as we talk SmackDown. We got Gary Emmett in there. He says if WWE doesn't pick up on guys like Dex Royal, Calvin Tankman, Eric Dillinger, Dion Pitt Freeman, Billy Starks. Oh man, what a list here!
Yeah,
What in the Iron Demon Shane Mercer, they got blinders on. I absolutely agree with that. Everybody that you just named in that is just a bunch of heavy hitters,
I feel like
and they should be on that WWE
Yeah.
radar
I
for sure.
I hear you, but look, I'll be happy if they sign Billy Starks before Bailey ends her career. Or
Oh, you want to see Billy Starks and Bailey?
yeah, yeah. I
I
keep
want
on
to see that.
for some reason I keep on getting her mixed up with Izzy Moreno.
Yeah, no, that's not the
Yeah,
same, but
no,
it would still
no,
be a banger of a match.
yeah,
It would
Mm.
still be a bang, but I would want to see Izzy Moreno as well.
yeah.
Get that match for sure. Get that match for sure.
I want to see
Um,
Julia Hart.
Oh my God,
Ooh, yeah, that'd be
Julia.
good. I like that. Yeah, you got OG Tony saying he thinks that Private Party would be good. We
Mm,
absolutely agree. And he also goes on to say that he thinks Baker is stuck in AEW because of contract. I didn't
yeah,
hear about that, but I
Well,
do know there's some mutual interest. I did hear about that.
now I did hear over the weekend. I know it's through one of the sites that we don't like to really bring up. Um, because they're mostly clickbait. But I think Britt might be getting released from her contract, or
really.
has been released.
Okay.
There's talk of her contract. I love how Tony's on the pulse of everything going on right now.
Oh man,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
you're on it. So OG Tony, if I heard something wrong, I'm not gonna say that it's not a possibility because it was through like Wrestle News or something like that. So hopefully it's right. But the outside of the Danhausen information, I could almost say is pretty fucking legit. Like the people talking about it are
Yeah,
100%.
I I feel real strong about the Danhausen get. I feel real strong about that. But I want to get Grun's thoughts. Where are you at with all these possible future signings to WWE? Where do you think they'd fit in?
I like them all as future signings. I think Danhausen. If we were going to compare the spot that he would be in, it would essentially be the R-Truth spot. But
Okay.
and it's
Okay.
like it's not mean not an insult because R-Truth has done a lot of had a lot of amazing moments and a lot of entertaining spots in that
Mm-hmm.
in that s- in that position. Danhausen, I think, does have the ability to tell a story where he maneuvers. I think you could actually tell a story where he maneuvers, manipulates his way to becoming world champion. It's not believable as because I get it, he's not that big of a guy, but he's influenced all these people around him. He has his own faction that's heelish and babyface at the same time.
It's the Mick Foley,
Mm.
Mankind getting the world title. Grun, I would like to say I want to see him more in and House. I know you're going to pop for this name, a Crash Holly type
Ooh.
Okay.
situation where he
Okay.
is the underdog. You see him, but he comes out there like Danhausen does, and he acts like he's bigger than life, and
Yeah.
then gives you a really good match. I don't need him to be tossed around like a rag doll like Crash
Right.
was, but Crash also had a huge following of fans. He was very prominent in the first hour of Raw, when hardcore was going after him, when the hardcore
Oh
division
God.
was going after him. So I think something like that would be fun, and then mix it in with like what you're saying with the R-Truth behind the scenes, because we love when Danhausen pops up behind the scenes. Who
Yeah.
doesn't? He's hilarious. He carries a jar of teeth. So why wouldn't you want somebody like that asking Pepsi Man what's he doing backstage and not out at the ring? I think it would be amazing. I want to see it.
I would like to see it as well. I'm not gonna lie. I think he'd fit in perfectly. And something I was thinking about while you guys were talking, like, no, he doesn't have to get ragdolled around or anything like that. But also like a character like Danhausen, like we can all agree that wins and losses truly don't matter with a character like
No,
that, right?
no,
It doesn't matter. Like you're just gonna see what you just care about what crazy thing he's gonna do next.
Exactly.
exactly. And then imagine
That's a
Booker
very
T.
specific lane.
Imagine Booker T reacting to Danhausen. He just, to me, he's going to give that element to Danhausen that
Oh yeah.
Danhausen needs from a commentary,
Yeah.
and it's going to be fantastic if it happens.
I can imagine Booker T on commentary saying, "What the hell?
Yeah,
Who is this sick freak?" in a
it
way
runs
only,
his own
in a
team.
way only he can.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think it's going to be fantastic.
I think it would be interesting because when you think about the way that Booker T handled Goldust back in the day, it could be similar to
Yeah.
how he would handle Danhausen on commentary.
I would love it because him and Goldust together was fan
It was
fucking
good,
tastic.
right?
It was so good. It made people Booker T fans because of the interaction with him and Goldust. You ended up cheering for him and Goldust together.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. I love the idea of Danhausen being in the mix for sure. I would not be against that in any way, shape, or form. I think, like you guys said, the Crash Holly, the R Truth element of just a guy that could pop up and just make you laugh and make you remember. Like I think that we get caught up in like, oh, 5-star matches or oh, who has the most titles, who has the longest title runs, that we forget there's some talents that are just special that just make you remember,
Yeah.
that make you just have those moments. And I think that, yeah, you might not be a 14-time world heavyweight champion, but guys like R Truth, like Santino Morella, like Crash Holly, names like that, damn it, you remember them forever and it don't matter. So like I think that Danhausen could be that next generational type like funny, entertaining part of wrestling, and it'd be a very good lane for him where I think him and WWE could make a lot of money. But man, speaking of WWE, we just had SmackDown go down, as we all know. A lot of us should know that it was pre-taped because of the 4th of July. It was a pretty good edition. They went down to 2 hours. I'm going to leave that to Grun to give you all that info. But Grun, some of your overall highlights and thoughts on this past Friday Night SmackDown.
It needed better booking because every match on the card was some type of tag team match.
Yep.
That was way too much tag team wrestling. Uh, it was one of BFAB's worst matches in recent memory, which is not good because I am a fan of BFAB. She has won me over with her fundamentals in the ring
Hmm.
and her personality. Uh, Overall, this SmackDown felt like it was more for. It was a setup SmackDown. It was for setting up Evolution, Saturday night's main event, and and inevitably SummerSlam. So unfortunately, it was a missable SmackDown in my opinion.
What? Grun?
And it's not for the reasons you say because you want 3 hours of SmackDown. I
Now enjoy your pussy drink.
I I stand firmly on the idea that had nothing to do with WWE. This was a decision made by the USA Network, where
Right.
Resident Evil, or no, sorry, not Resident Evil, Resident Alien, the show that goes on after SmackDown, has been going on after SmackDown for a while now, has been on at the 11 o'clock uh, time slot for a while now.
Mhm.
I don't think they want it at 11 o'clock anymore. I think they want it at 10 because SmackDown, they won't move it to 7 o'clock. So they'll say you can keep the 8 o'clock slot, but you end at 10. I think that's what happened. Like is the only thing that makes sense because WWE, why would they want to cut back on an hour? I don't think they would have cut back on an hour uh, of content unless they were told to. And the only people that really could have forced this is USA Network.
That makes sense. I
Yeah.
gotta say, I don't like the 2 hour. I don't. I think that they were writing heavy with 3 hours. He was able to tell more stories, and now things are gonna get cut off. Now we didn't have John Cena on this show. I think he missed this one, if I remember correctly. I do find it to be interesting that in a show that was very much like you said, missable, passable, way too many tag matches. As somebody who's a fan of tag team wrestling, that was way too much. That was way too much. There's, they're, like you said, they're doing some building. But one thing that stuck out to me is I do like the fact that the third version, the fourth version, whatever it is of the bloodline, ended up standing tall at the end of the show, and the United States title was featured prominently. I think that is a good sign for the U.S. title, for Solo being the champion. We know he's got the title now. After I feel like we've talked about Solo in such a strange light for like almost the last 2 years. First you love him, then you don't, then you do, then you see the potential, then it's not there. There's been a lot of conversation as far as us and former In Your House guest Solo Sokoa. I guess I want to go with Voice. Voice is an advocate, a guy who likes mid card titles. What do you think about the decision to end the show with the U.S. Championship stable faction, whatever, standing tall?
There is no romantic way to fist someone.
There isn't. And what we seen was something that was incredible. It's the United States title meaning something at the end of a
Right.
show. And for it to be on Solo, wow, what a strange long road we've been with Solo. Where we were talking, I remember it started a heated discussion about Solo back in the day. P was in that discussion, and he kept saying, "You guys are missing everything about Solo." And it's time to admit, P was right. We were missing everything.
Yeah.
But was Solo giving us anything for us to miss? Maybe superhero Paragon out there was able to see it. He was the Professor X in this whole scenario.
Right.
And I agree. I'm on his train right now. I'm with him because Solo is becoming interesting. Solo is doing exactly what I've talked about nauseating times is the 5 minutes. And I know it infuriates some of you fans when we discuss this, but every time you have that 5 minutes, whatever it may be, you need to set yourself apart from
You
the
got to
pack.
take it.
Solo has been doing this for interviews. He's been doing this for backstage promos. He's been doing this for in-ring work. Solo's not stopping. He seems to be a Dominic Mysterio note taker because Dominic figured it out. He knows how to capitalize on being one of the greatest heels walking today. Solo he's figuring it out. And the group that he's bringing up, you have the addition of Tree. This is going to be fantastic. That I ain't ever going to call him whatever they want to call him. He is Tree. That is what he is. And the dude is just a phenom. And I cannot wait to see what the leadership of Solo looks like with him. Because remember, he kind of took away the bloodline. And didn't he call them the family? Something.
Yep.
So
The family tree.
the family tree. So therefore, Solo's already separating this group from the entire pack of the bloodline and doing his own thing. It wouldn't surprise me in months after SummerSlam we start seeing a lot of the family tree merch out there because this is exciting. I'm really hopeful in what Solo's bringing to the table nowadays.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I also, while you're talking, I'm thinking about like how the bloodline is kind of, it's kind of following the Judgment Day formula as far as like every time we think the Judgment Day was going to end, it metamorphosed into something else. And
Yep.
now look what the Bloodline is doing. It's metamorphosing into something else. And I think that maybe that's the future. How we present factions and how to keep them fresh is to just do this every now and again. Because I do think that factions still should have a prominent place in wrestling, and I think that factions should, have long standing. Do I think some need to end and there's a time and a place for it? For sure. But I think factions still have a firm place in WWE. Do I think that the Triple H formula a few years ago started out with maybe too many factions? Yeah, for sure. But I think we're kind of shedding that skin a little bit, and we're kind of keeping the factions that are relevant and getting, and downsizing or giving less time to the ones that aren't relevant. So I think it's an interesting place to be, for sure. I thought that them standing tall was interesting, but I want to get some of your thoughts, Grun, as far as the opening here. Drew McIntyre, he returns and interrupts Cody Rhodes and Orton. He was kind of poking the bear there, trying to create dissension between Cody, create dissension between him and Randy. What are your thoughts on the return of Drew McIntyre, Grun? Where are you at right now?
I am very pleased and happy to see the return of Drew McIntyre. This is definitely making it feel like it's a mid card sort of feel right now. However, Drew, at the same time, you can, as you said, and as he said on social media, he's a shit stirrer. He is going to stir the pot and try and maneuver himself into a position where he gets a world title opportunity. And I love that for Drew. Drew has been one of the has truly been his best self since he was fired from WWE and came back. This is he's just getting better and better. I cannot wait to see what he does. This feels like it's heading for a Drew McIntyre Randy Orton match at SummerSlam, which I'm definitely going to be a fan of if we get that.
So I think that those two are confirmed to now be going at it at Saturday Night Main Event.
That's right.
So yeah, I think they're at
Right.
Saturday night.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's when they're gonna do it. Well, we'll talk more about that on the next segment when we do. That's true. That might be true. That's ridiculous. But I like the fact that Drew McIntyre is back. I'm never mad when Drew McIntyre's on my screen, to be honest. But the issue with it is where is he gonna go from here after this match? If he takes a loss to Randy Orton, then it's like, okay, you're back and you lost again. So why should we care? If Randy Orton wins or Randy Orton loses, then it's like, okay, unless there's some shenanigans or something like that, it kind of hurts because Randy Orton is in the midst of trying to plead his case to try to, maybe slide into the main event to SummerSlam. So he's trying to pick up some wins. He's trying to keep it because you can hear that, he's trying to tell Cody this and that. He's trying to tell Cody, like, hey, you better make it count. You better make sure that since you took me out and I spared you, that you don't spare Cena the way I spared you. I think that stung Randy Orton a little bit, that he knew he hesitated, and that he didn't punt. He didn't punt Cody when he had the chance to, and that's the story here. Is Randy gone soft? That's what it seems like. But back to Drew real quick. I just feel like, as much as I love to see Drew, they gotta find a lane for this guy because he's somebody I feel like he's in the prime, maybe more on the other side of his prime than on the front of it. But like, you got to start putting this guy in main event situations instead of putting him in situations where he's come in, he's taking a loss to maybe like a CM Punk or taking a loss to a Damian Priest or something, and then he comes back with his chest out, and we're supposed to believe that he's going to win anything. So, I love Drew McIntyre. I just think some of the presentation could be better. Voice, I feel like you're in the same boat. Give me some of your thoughts on the return of Drew McIntyre.
That's cool. I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't really care about Drew McIntyre. I don't. He's proven time and time again that he can only do a big match and then he's gone, and they don't know what to do with him. This whole I'm angry and I'm mad at you and I'm gonna hurt you in the most crippling way, and then I'm gonna try to play mind games. It's boring. Pick a new lane. Uh, if I can quote Curb Your Enthusiasm, get a life. You really need to pivot, and Drew McIntyre has become just the same old thing. It's like WCW in the Big Show. It's like the Giant, I should say, when they had him. It's become redundant. I've seen this play before. So what? We're going to get Randy Orton punting Drew McIntyre, or we're going to get Drew McIntyre derailing the really good story built around Randy Orton, like you said, House. Those are the only two options, and why, for what does Drew bring to the television screen that demands this attention fresh back?
I mean, he came back from a loss. I mean, I don't know. That's the thing. He came back from a loss. And Damian Priest is, I mean, I can't speak too much on what Damian Priest is doing. It looks like he's somewhere in between this Ron Killens and Aleister Black situation, which if those two have a match, that's great. But like, I don't think Damian Priest has got any better from defeating Drew McIntyre. I don't
Well,
think he's in a better spot than he was at before. So it's like, how much longer? And I understand your frustration with Drew McIntyre. For that, I say I think that's more. I honestly think that's more the way they're writing for him more than anything else. He can only do what they're giving him. He goes out there, and I think that he does a good job with what he's given. But what they're writing for him right now, they keep putting him in a situation where he's going down a road, then there's a dead end right there, then they're having to let's pull him back. All right, let's try taking him down this other road. Oh, here's another dead end. Like, and it's so it the situation is so deadlocked at the top right now with everything going on with John Cena. Like, he's not going to enter that John Cena mix. And then the story that they have set up for Seth Rollins and Gunther and Goldberg, which can't wait for that to be done. And, Jey Uso, where does he play back into that? And LA Knight's floating around there somewhere. There's no room for Drew McIntyre there either. So, like, Drew McIntyre, like, ideally he should be at the top, but because it's so jammed at the top right now, they're like, we got no clue what to do with this main event caliber talent, this 6'5" athletic, charismatic Scottish man. We have no clue what to do with him. And then when you get to that point, you're having some interesting questions that you have to have with yourself.
but to me, it seems like after that big Sheamus fight that he had, they lost all momentum with him, any ability to tell his story. And I do hear exactly what you're saying, but I would just like to rebuttal that with Karrion Cross. Look what he's done. He's demanded that they put him into something. He has made himself a spectacle to be in a ring. So now that the fans have built up all this love, all this support for him, WWE's responding. Was it the match we wanted him to be in? Yes. I wanted to see him face Sammy. But
I
was
want
it
to
the
see it.
result we wanted? No. But that's it. He's in the discussion now. He made himself relevant with exploding on interviews. I mean, the Lou has a drop of him just saying, my ass. And it's just a picture of Karrion Cross. It's one of the most popular drops in Lou's channel. And that's just a small Georgia based podcast, but fans who aren't even into wrestling are using it. That goes to show me that Drew doesn't have that drive. He has the drive of, what do you have me for this week's episode? Oh, nothing? Okay, cool. I'll go sit by the pool. Karrion Cross goes, oh, you have nothing for me this week? Okay. I wonder if you'll have something for me next week. And then he goes on a campaign to make sure the fans are demanding he's involved next week. And then he gets it. And it's fresh. It's new. It's just hit for us. But when I see somebody of Drew McIntyre's ability not doing that, that makes me wonder, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You know, Mac and Foster did that thing, you know, with the who can say pussy the most.
You're just Farva right now.
It makes me think with somebody because I see the Cross and McIntyre comparison. I do. Also, I think they're in very, very different spots in their career for sure. You talk about somebody like Drew McIntyre, who's been to the top, he's held the title, and he's had those opportunities. And I'll be honest, as somebody who's a big Drew McIntyre fan and remember the feud that he had with CM Punk, the way he carried the company through the pandemic, all the awesome things that he's done, I think it's fair to say maybe he's taking his foot off the gas a little bit. But then you think about somebody like Karrion Cross, who's just fighting and clawing and scratching for every little camera opportunity, every match, every chance to be on a PLE, every chance to have a backstage scenario where he has the opportunity to get in somebody's head. I just think that they're in two very different spots of their career. I think Karrion Cross deserves to be in that spotlight because if you know Karrion Cross the way a lot of us fans know Karrion Cross, you know who he was, Killer Cross in MLW. You know who he was as a former NXT World Heavyweight Champion. They didn't bring this man back and re-sign him and then have him putting one of those sand timers in front of Roman Reigns upon his return for no reason. They got to have something for this guy to where they think he's so I could definitely 100% see the Karrion Cross and Drew McIntyre commentary because you have Karrion Cross who was once considered to be possibly a chosen one to him now having to just try to get whatever he can get. I don't know if Karrion Cross is considered maybe going away for a while, letting the contract expire and maybe try that route again. He already tried it once, so I don't know why he'd want to go back to it again. But I think that WWE is gonna try to work him in there some kind of way. They got to see what's going on, and you can't hold somebody like that down for long. As far as Drew McIntyre, I just think that they don't know what to do with him right now. Honestly, more than anything else, I think they don't know what to do with him right now, and it's an interesting lane. But we got to move on, continue here because we're talking interesting lanes for talent. We had a match, part of the 1,500 tag team matches that went down on SmackDown. There was a triple threat women's tag team match between the Secret Hervis, B-Fab and Michin, and Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Now, with the story that they're telling, when I look at the structure of this here, and you just see the writings on the wall. You see what's going on. They're not giving Charlotte and Alexa this camera time to try to develop this storyline between the two just for them to go into this match and lose. Now, for me, I think that there's a much better competitive drive for something like this if you put in the Secret Hervis. Because honestly, I thought Alba Fire and Piper Niven were cooking as a tag team. I'm a fan of tag teams who match. They're part of the same stable. It's a legitimate women's tag team that feels like they should be in that spot. Now, I'm somebody who's talked about Charlotte Flair many a times where I'm just like, I'm not interested in what she's doing. She only has one lane, one direction. We're tired of it. Every time she comes back, she jumps the line, goes right for the women's world title, has no character development, no story development, anything like that. I've also been critical of Alexa Bliss, if you guys have been listening to this podcast, that she hasn't shown up on TV. Nobody cares about what she's doing. She's a grown woman playing with the doll. Now they're doing something interesting with these two to give them a lane, give them a path, and for me, if they're gonna have them rolling out there on TV, the Charlotte Flair thing is tired with her going for the title. There's also been podcast and excerpts and things out there of her saying she wants to try to change the narrative on herself. She wants to try to change that narrative on her that she only has one lane, that she's hated, that she's supposed to be this pampered and special this and that queen, and I got a lot of thoughts on that, but I got to get some of Grun's thoughts here. Where are you at with this triple threat match? Let's talk about the development of what they're trying to do with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair.
Better watch your
So,
microaggressions, bro.
dude, all right. Look, so it's no secret. I am a big Alexa Bliss fan. I was not a fan of Charlotte and Alexa winning. Now you have convinced me that okay, all this is for storytelling purposes to eventually put the titles on them and then someone else to beat them. Possibly Sol Ruka and Zarya I because they I think them as a tag team, you could in theory bring them up or actually maybe even not bring them up, but force Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair to defend the tag team titles in NXT, creating an opportunity for Sol Ruka and Zarya to still be in NXT, still be on NXT roster, but give them the tag team titles.
And they'll be able to make Raw and SmackDown appearances.
Exactly. So while they're still not technically on the main roster, they're being given opportunities. They're showing the main roster fans exactly what our Zarya and Sol Ruka have to offer, introducing the fans to the next generation of women's wrestling. Um, that being said, I would not have been mad if the Secret Service or if Michin and BFAB had won this match.
My only issue with the BFAB thing is I just don't think she's ready for title opportunities yet. Chin is, but BFAB not there yet.
Yeah, we definitely saw that BFAB, while she definitely has her fundamentals down, she needs a little bit more work, unfortunately.
And I'm a fan, like you said. I think you said it before the show. You're a fan of her. I'm a fan of her. When she was part of, I think it was maybe last year when they really started letting her wrestle, and
Mhm.
she was in like the triple threat matches to qualify for the Queen of the Ring, and she turned a lot of heads. She really did. She turned a lot of heads, but yeah, I think there's still some work to be done there for sure. I think it's interesting. Listen, once again, with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, these are two women that I think, especially Charlotte, but also I think Alexa is in that conversation too, are two women that need this ego check. They need to be trickled down the card. You guys aren't in a spot where you guys are the main event anymore. So if you want to get TV time, you're going to have to get more relegated roles. You know who did it? Bianca Belair did it. You know who's doing it now? Bailey and Becky Lynch. They're taking their spot in the mid card. So I think that this is an interesting lane for Charlotte. She's trickled back down the card a little bit. Maybe that's a hit to her ego, but also if you are truly saying that you want to try to change public perspective on yourself to have people maybe see you in a more favorable light, and you have to have TV time, in my opinion, this is the way to do it. Humble her a little bit. I think that we'll see less and less of the referee come in and opening the rope for her. I think that needs to end if you're gonna change that narrative. I like the patting on the head thing. As far as like, oh, maybe I kind of had that coming. I feel like in my mind the story is that Charlotte Flair is having to be humbled a little bit. But I'm going to throw it over to my man Voice. Where are you at with the women's tag team division as a whole, specifically Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair?
I like the women's tag team division. I think it's up and coming, especially with what we see in coming out of NXT. Um, I really want to see Sol Ruka up on the main roster. Even if
I
it's
love
with a yeah, if it's with a tag team, I'm happy with that. If it's solo, I'm happy with that. I think she's got it. She understands the assignment, and
Yeah.
she fulfills every spot they need. I agree with you. This needs to happen for both women, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Um, it's no secret I am no fan of either one of these
Yep. We know. Yep,
women.
for sure.
I'm very critical. I was a huge fan of Charlotte. But I started noticing the um, let's just call them rookie mistakes that she does. She gets frazzled by the crowd way too easily.
Mm-hmm.
In her tenure, she should be unmovable.
Poised.
Her father was her father. He had to have heart attacks and things like that to be drug out of a ring. Ric Flair, he didn't let a crowd move him; he moved the crowd.
Yeah, he
Um,
did.
and I'm not saying that you got to be the Ric Flair and everything, but I will say when you come out and like House is talking, you come out in this robe gimmick. You come out, your father did that, just so you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you come out and Little Nate is holding the ropes open for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the respect to the Flair name. That's what a referee did back in the day for a wrestler of the caliber of Ric Flair.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so all of those things need to go because now we need to see what you can do with the Flair name. Flair is not there anymore. He's shitting himself in a bar and not paying tab. So that's what your dad is doing right now. The man who used to, fly on jets, profile, do all the shit. That's what he does now. So now it's your turn. Now it's your turn to become the Flair that we know the name can be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's your turn to turn it into your own way because there's never going to be another your father. There's never going to be another Nate. There's never going to be anything to that caliber. So let's talk about what Ashley can do with the name. Let's talk
Yes.
about what Charlotte can do with it. And right
Yes.
now, you're in a perfect position to do exactly what you need to do. I don't understand the attraction with Alexa Bliss. She bores the fuck out of me. To me she is just a regular I want to be Harley Quinn, but I don't understand comics because there's reading. And it really annoys me because if you knew anything about Harley Quinn was submissive to the Joker. She did anything that man told her to do
Yep.
because she believed in what he was about. Much like what you should have been putting forth in the whole when you were with the Wyatts. Uh, I understand some people think she did. I don't. I think you could have played that character way better, into which it would have had longevity into now where I would have cared about you because now I don't care about you because you are walking around with a doll and talking to it. There's ways to do that. Al Snow, he did it like for a long time. Like if Al Snow today
Yep.
shows up with a mannequin head, he can go right into that character. I'm not buying it. I bought the head. I bought head. I even bought Pepe.
Oh yeah.
I don't buy this.
What about Moppy?
I bought Moppy. I bought Perry Saturn's character altogether because I thought the dude was nuts, and I could have swore he
He's
fucking
nuts.
he knocked some screws loose. So Moppy was believable.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But as far as going back real quick to Alexa Bliss, and I'll jump into that real quick before I say, our man the Lou is in the chat. He says, IYH, happy house party. My man, always good to see you hop in the chat. He says, what does everybody want? Hey, yes, man,
What
we
does
know it.
everybody need?
Hey!
Okay, Carl, well, maybe you'd like 2 weeks detention instead.
Oh shit!
No,
PC
no,
principal
PC
gave you
principal. Come
detention.
on, man. Come on, man. Say,
Come
come on.
on.
Relax, PC
Be cool.
principal.
Be cool.
We're staying on track here. We're gonna continue to but back to Alexa Bliss, man. Once again, I have to say I was there in Lucas Oil when she returned to the Royal Rumble. I'm gonna always say this. She had one of the biggest pop, if not the biggest pop of the night.
Yeah,
And everything that has happened since then has been so mid. I mean, it's below mid. Honestly, it's
Yeah,
below mid.
so
So that's I'm sorry. I'm
no,
definitely gonna let you go, Grun.
yeah,
Most
yeah.
definitely. But it's been below mid. She was off TV for a while, and then then when she came back, they really didn't have anything for her, and now they're trying to form this partnership with Charlotte Flair. I honestly feel like, and then I'm gonna give it to Grun. I honestly feel like these two women need each other right now because they're two women that were kind of just hanging on by a thread of relevancy, and now they can lean on each other. Make If you're gonna be a tag team, do it. Go for it. You guys are two former women's champions. Alexa's a former women's tag team champion multiple times with Nikki Cross. They could be the women's version of Rated RKO if this is done right. But you have to own it. Exactly. Yowie wowie Grun. You had some thoughts.
Mhm.
What you thinking, bro?
I did. I mean, you were saying everything they've been doing this bid, and yeah, I'm like, I'm not in love with everything that Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair have been doing since WrestleMania, but there is a very unfortunate fact that we need to acknowledge about the tag team match they were in Friday night, in that the only pop came when Alexa Bliss was tagged into the match.
Wow.
The match was dead silent. The
It
crowd was
was. I
not
remember.
reacting.
That crowd sucked.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah. I agree with voice. Not
I
a very good crowd.
like there's no way like this match is this bad that people aren't reacting. Like I and it's like I think you know what? That's probably what we saw. That's probably we probably saw BFAB, Meech, and Secret Service doing the best they can, but the crowd was dead. They did not want anybody but Alexa Bliss.
And I liked the finish of the match. I didn't even hate the
Yeah,
finish of the
it
match
was.
with the moonsault and the head pat, like, oh, I'm better than you. Because the story, I do believe the story that they're telling is that Alexa is going to help Charlotte humble herself, and they can, I see the story here. I see it. So I like the ending. The crowd was just, I mean, it was not good. I mean, I thought they tried their best. I really liked the Secret Harvest. We were talking about it in the Discord about how much we're huge fans of the Secret Harvest. I love it. It's a gimmick. They've really come together. They've really figured out how to use Piper Niven and Alba Fire to their strengths, especially in ring. I don't think that match deserved pins. Being able to hear a pin drop.
I don't think
Wait,
that whole SmackDown deserved to hear pins drop.
Lou, is that? Hold on. Lou is saying the crowd also had a Raw and SmackDown in the same night. So there was.
Oh, he's right. Oh my God,
There
he's right.
was. Then
Yes,
yeah,
because remember it was pre-taped.
I didn't know that.
It
I
was
I don't
pre-taped,
care.
dude.
I
Do you
didn't
know
know.
how much I would come if I bought a ticket and I realized I was going to get to see a Raw and a SmackDown?
Yeah,
I,
seriously.
I would be doing lines of cocaine off the boners next to me just to stay up and be jacked for this. Because,
But we're not the type to go to a show and sit on our hands either.
Yeah,
no,
no, we're not.
yeah,
Eh,
god damn it. I wish our weekly shows were over in Europe.
Yeah,
Just give us some Europe weekly shows so there's some
Oh my
energy,
God.
I
especially for shows like this. This if you go back and rewatch this week's SmackDown, it was an engaging, fun show for the stories being told and
Right.
what we're seeing. Like House is pointing out, there is a story to be told between Charlotte and Bliss, and there's stories being told by Naomi and Jade. This was a good SmackDown. The very end was energy filled and a shot of adrenaline that SmackDown needed. And it was through the United States title. So I don't know what I understand what Lou is saying, and that makes a lot of sense. But you're a fucking wrestling fan. Enjoy what you're seeing.
I agree with you. And we got Lou in the chat. He's saying, "Dude, I would love to go to that many shows in a row, but the normal fans can't keep up." That's exactly what Voice is saying. Exactly. We're not the type of fans to go to a show and just sit on our hands. Like if I'm there, I am there, bro. Like ask Voice. We watch ECW every single week, and I sit up there and watch that show. And yes, it is the first time I've seen it, but I'm not like sitting over here like, oh, I can't believe that happened with my phone in my other hand. And so like, I'm in there, I'm locked in. And when I watch wrestling, bro.
Dude,
That's how I am.
we popped hard last week for a match that had no violence outside of just pure wrestling. It was a three-way dance. It was fantastically done,
Banger.
and we
So
loved
good.
it. We loved every moment of that match.
Yeah, yeah. Go check out our ECW watch alongs. They're great. We'll definitely talk more about that at the end of the show. But yeah, when we watch wrestling, we enjoy wrestling. So, like, I just can't imagine, them doing a good job. Even with the tag team, the SmackDown tag team division, they're still going along with that. That's always going to be something to talk about.
What,
I mean, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
let me ask real quick.
Here,
Sorry to
go ahead.
interrupt, but
Go ahead.
wouldn't it be beneficial to WWE if they know they're going to do this to the fans? So they're going to have your Monday Night Raw. After that, they're going to turn it around and they're going to sit you through SmackDown. So right there, that's near 5 hours worth of wrestling.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be smart of WWE to, I don't know, peruse the internet and find shows like this? And then, I don't know, maybe give them a package to where they could go to these types of shows and be that energetic fan base that you need for this type of showing. So you don't have to pipe in things. You don't have to do this. You don't have to worry, is the crowd getting too worn out? Because you have the people who are going to be there loving every moment of it. And then after that 5 hours, guess what they're going to do? Within 24 hours, every one of us nerds are going to get onto our computers in our studios and we're going to talk about what we just seen. If you didn't drive home and do it that night, like,
Which
why?
a lot of peeps do.
Exactly. Why not do that? It's not that much money. You could have cheap tickets for those shows and then just flood those cheap tickets with fans like us.
And it will make for better crowds, better visuals, better reactions to things that are
You're going to
happening.
sell more merch.
Exactly. You're gonna sell more merch. And like I'm a firm believer visuals are important in wrestling. Like, let me just say, would the Dolph Ziggler cash in for Alberto Del Rio be as great if the crowd didn't lose their shit when his music played?
Nope.
Nope, not at all.
Exactly. That moment was a moment because the crowd made that a moment. And moments that they intend to make moments, we're not reacting to. You know, that's some of the things. I mean, the tag team division, like I said, this SmackDown tag team division is going hot. But when you have the crowd sitting on their hands and whatnot. And we got to talk about this because I know there's a lot of thoughts on this, and I'm just gonna go ahead and throw and lobby this one right to Voice and get his thoughts. And that's the fact that you had Tiffany Stratton able to choose her challenger at WWE Evolution 2, and she chose Trish Stratus. Now, we know the last time we saw Trish Stratus, that was at Elimination Chamber. This was in either the February March time frame. That was she didn't have to go nowhere really. It was there in Canada, and then I don't really think we've seen her on TV since. But hand picked opponent for Tiffany Stratton was Trish Stratus, leading up to Evolution. What's your thoughts?
That's cool. I don't want that.
Yeah. Again, okay, Elimination Chamber, I can give you grace. I can say, okay, that's a match in which I can see a legend coming back and doing something. For this match, I do not see that. I understand the implications of passing the torch, doing this, doing that. I don't like it. I absolutely don't like it. I don't think Trish is the draw for this match that could have amplified this match to be something. I think, honestly, why not give us somebody from New Japan? Why not dip your toe across into somebody in TNA? Why not give us somebody who might be making a splash of their own? And could we have not gotten Kyrie Sane versus Tiffany Stratton and a well-developed story that would have led into the look what Kyrie's doing on her own. She's making the fans like understand what she is. and understand what she brings to a main roster. Um, I Trish Trish has value, but her value to me, and this is me personally speaking, is not equal or greater than the value that needs to happen in this match. This is a chance to highlight Tiffany Stratton and highlight another woman. Why does it have to be the torch moment? Why can't she come out on a SmackDown and challenge and who's ever running it at that time can say, yes, we need to do this. And then you have an epic moment with those two where they have a 45-minute just brawl, just go at it. Tiffany can she proved that she can do that. She went against Nia Jax in a street fight and it was good.
Yeah, you
Nobody
raved about that. I remember you raved about that.
what did anybody complain about Nia in that match? I didn't hear anything. And that to me, that's one of the first ones she's had where nobody's bitching. They enjoyed it. She took 3 or 4 tables actually. She went through.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I'm at with it. We'll move on to more positive people speaking about this.
No, I hear exactly what you're saying. I think that that's a shared thought amongst many. And like you said, it's supposed to be a torch passing moment and yada yada yada. But once again, when you have names, well, here's the thing: Jade is committed to she's committed to SummerSlam, so she knows she's got that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Naomi who has money in the bank, so she knows she's got that. And then it's like you have Charlotte that's all tied up now with Alexa. Who else is in that mix? Nia Jax. We do not know. I agree with you that they had a good match. I'm not debating that. I am just so tired of Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax. I mean, it's
Yeah.
tired. And then what do you got from there? So now you're having the pool, and the only way I love Trish Stratus, I respect her. I thought her run before she came back for Elimination Chamber when she was having cage matches with like the likes of Becky Lynch and stuff like that. I thought it was a good run. But the only way you can make this worse if they would have forced Tiffany Stratton to pick Nikki Bella. Then I would have been like, oh yeah, that's who you're gonna pick. Oh come on, man, that's tired. That like no way. Yeah, I say that it makes sense because of Trish, just because of the history that they've developed. But man, they just didn't have enough time to develop this. There was no way. This whole thing, and OG Tony said it earlier, a lot of stuff feeling rushed, and then you have NXT. You got the NXT Bash at the Beach. You got Saturday Night Main Event. You got Evolution all in the same weekend. And I know this is what WWE loves to do now. They love to make massive wrestling weekends and make it a big deal and everything like that. But like when you have like my God, I feels like we just had Money in the Bank, another Saturday Night Main Event. We were just in Saudi Arabia. Like we're doing like you're let us catch our breaths. Like you're doing all these special events all in the same time, and you're not giving yourself enough time to develop stories. Like yeah, you might have led to something with you have Naomi and Seth Rollins telling their respective stories with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and then you have Cody Rhodes and Jade who have their guaranteed spots at SummerSlam. I get it, you got those, but you still have a whole card to build. SummerSlam is 2 nights. You got to have your stuff in the right order, and when everything, when all these shows that are supposed to be special come up, and you expect big things to happen and they don't, or big things get closed out, then it's like okay, you're at a point where you only got like what? It's about to be the middle of July. SummerSlam is the beginning of August. Now there's only some stories that's only going to be told for 2 weeks, and I think that's the issue that you had leading up to Evolution and Saturday Night Main Event. You just didn't give yourself enough time for people to truly care about Evolution because it's all happening so fast. It's all getting thrown at us so fast, and the stories aren't developing the way they need to develop. So that's my thoughts on it. That's just where I'm at with the direction of WWE as a whole and all these pop up pay per views.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like they're trying to play catch up because we heard a rumor that they lost $3 billion. So now they're fucking big lots, and every weekend they're going out of business, and they got to put the best. You're taking away what was special about WrestleMania.
Yeah, yeah, it's all too much, man. Like,
Hmm.
I I I got on to this is okay. So just because I call a spade here, this is I've got on to AEW about this before
Hmm.
for having too many big shows in a row. You know, you would go over to the UK, then you come back and you'd have you'd have all out in the UK, then you come back from there, then you'd have all in Chicago, and that's like weeks apart. And I'm like, it's too much. There is no way, not a chance in hell that I'm not gonna hold, myself and WWE accountable for doing the exact same thing that I was, hating on AEW for doing that I didn't agree with, the practice that I didn't agree with. And I think they just really need to slow their roll. Like
I agree.
this past weekend we had nothing, and that's great. But boom, we have two, three big shows for each respective brand. Well, not even like Evolution is everybody. Yeah, Evolution, that's everybody. NXT, and then you have Saturday Night Main Event, which is all the main roster stuff. So it's like it's just too much, man, for sure. I think they need to slow down. But all in all, I'm agreeing with what Voice said a little bit earlier. This was a pretty good SmackDown. I think they moved the stories along that they need to, and not every show is going to be a banger. I've said that a million times till I'm blue in the face. Not every episode of a weekly episodic wrestling show needs to be a banger because that just don't make sense. I think that's what AEW tried to do, and a lot of people got turned off by it because that's what the standard became. You got to have some of those slow moments in order for the big moments to truly, truly be appreciated. So I think I'm a big advocate on that. But we've went over this. We went over SmackDown. We had some great conversations about possible signings to WWE. But now we've got to ask some questions. We got to ask if some things are true, they might be true, or that's ridiculous. We're going to play that game. It's going to be our Evolution and Saturday Night Main Event edition. But before we do that, we're going to take a break. We're going to pay some bills. When we come back, I'm going to get with my man Voice. I'm going to get with my man Grun. And we're going to talk what's true, what's not true, and what's ridiculous. See you in a second.
Hello, everyone. It's the Pope Elijah Burke, founder and president of the Love Alive charity. I wanted to take this brief moment to share with you my charity's continued humanitarian efforts to positively impact the impoverished communities in and around the greater Jacksonville area. This cannot be possible without your support. If you'd be so kind, please take a moment to visit our website, love-alive.org, to learn more about the charity and its mission. Also, feel free to donate to our 501c3 organization that operates off of the donation of the public, which is you. Whether that be by website or via Cash App, $1 help makes a difference in the lives of others as we continue to positively influence many people by being the change that we wish to see in the world.
Hey guys, welcome back to In Your House. And we've already had a big discussion as far as the first half of the episode. We talked a lot about SmackDown, talked about some signings, but now we have to look towards the future because we have a couple of events coming up. We have WWE Evolution that is on the 13th. It's a hell of a card, honestly. I know we talked about everything that goes around that show. Like I said, if you guys are reading what's going out there, I know I've seen it. Ticket sales aren't doing good. It's just not looking great for the ticket sales for this event. But on paper, though, I mean, with the mix of veteran talent and then NXT talent that's coming up, along with the Battle Royal for opportunity at the Women's World Championship at the match at the Clash in Paris. A lot of good possibilities here. I like Jade Cargill and Naomi in a no holds barred match. And then, of course, Saturday Night Main Event that is going to be coming up, and we'll talk about that and really break that down here as we're going to play That's True, That Might Be True, and That's Ridiculous. And this is the Evolution and Saturday Night Main Event edition. So I'm going to be asking my guys here questions and get their thoughts as far as where, what's happening here. What are some of your thoughts on what's happening at Saturday Night Main Event at Evolution? But I'm going to start here with Evolution. We're going to start there. Jade Cargill, somebody who's been a topic of conversation in our group, in our chat, and she is now the queen of the ring, and she has a guaranteed opportunity at SummerSlam. Still a lot of questions are surrounding her if she's ready for that main event opportunity. So I'm going to start this one off easy. I'm going to start it with Grun, then we'll go to Voice. By the end of SummerSlam weekend, Jade Cargill will be the women's champion. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. Not happening.
Ooh,
She is
okay.
so not ready. WWE did a great job of making her or look better than she was. Asuka did what she could. Unfortunately, at Saudi Arabia, we saw mistakes that she should not have been making at this point. These weren't big mistakes, especially when the knee spot. She was selling the knee very well up until she did a kip up, and then she acted like she never had an injured knee. Not
Yeah,
good.
yep.
The pin, we talked about it. It was horrendous. It shouldn't have been that bad. And unfortunately, she is not ready. She won't be ready. And now I dare question: is this going to be her last WWE contract?
Ooh, that's a big that's
I,
big right there.
it's it's a valid question. I'm not saying they need to release her, but this does bring into question: does she need to be releasing? Is she not worth the money they paid for her?
That's the question right there. We see it all the time in sports. If you are not equaling the value that they're paying you out, then we've got no place for you, and that's just called business right there. I like Jade. I think Jade has a great look. I think that her wrestling is passable. I think her promos still need a lot of work. She still has to make me believe. I think when she talks, it still feels manufactured to me. So I don't love that, especially on somebody that is supposed to be ideally my next women's champion. We'll see where it goes, but it's not my time to chat. It's Voices time. Jade Cargill will be the women's champion at the end of SummerSlam. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. And if you believe that,
Go outside, nerd. Get out. Go. I ain't got time to
because
be distracted by your
like
worthless comments. Go on.
I love Jade, and I think she is worth the money that is paid. But I think you're going about presenting her all wrong. For instance, her walking out SmackDown. She's the queen of the ring, correct?
Yep.
Yep.
She came out with her crown, right?
Yep.
Yes.
She was like Will Ferrell in Talladega Nights. What do I do with my hands? I don't know what to do with my hands. She didn't know what to do with the fucking crown. She's putting it on, she's taking it off. She's walking with it, putting it on her arm. She's doing all these things. That's ridiculous. She needs somebody with her, get, walking with her, carrying it on a pillow, and then she's walking behind it doing that. If you're going to present her, she also needs to learn how to speak in beats and have some personality behind what she says, because you're right, House, she is very robotic when she speaks. She needs
Mm-hmm.
to have some emotion in her. Put a thumbtack in your boot and step on it every time you need to speak. Give us that emotion, because it's in you. We know it's in you. I mean, come
Yep.
on, Jade. You you are one of the most potentially dominant women in wrestling today. There, you have the look. That's one of the hardest things to do. Now we have to pull the personality out of you. It's in
Yeah.
there. You have to bring it out. And I think working with Naomi is your biggest lifeline. You have to go back, rewatch SmackDown, rewatch when Naomi clocks her in the back of the head with that briefcase and then laughs and tells her she should have proceeded with caution and then fucking runs off. That
That right there, bro. That
perfect.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. 5 minutes, you took it, you hit it out of the park. It was 5 seconds, bro.
Yeah. Yes.
That's all this amazing woman needs is just 5 to 10 seconds to do something, just drive by, hit you, and then just laugh like an insane wench, and then just run off like it was. You talk about like the crazy, like, you know, unhinged Harley Quinn vibes. That was there. That was there. You know what I'm saying? Like, Alexa Bliss, take notes, because if you want to play a character like that, that's how you have to do it, by being truly unpredictable, truly unhinged. The one liner, you should have proceeded with caution. Like, that was just a perfect one liner. The laugh was perfect. The everything she's doing, I'm telling you, for me personally, Naomi can't miss. But yeah, that's it's such a strange parallel between her and Jade right now, because Jade is just truly trying to catch up to the greatness that is Naomi right now.
Very true. But let's play rewards for good jobs. Jade just went down. She didn't try to fall gracefully. She didn't try to protect her. She just went to the ground.
Yeah,
Great. Let's build off of that. Let's
yeah.
move with that. So now you got a match against Naomi at this evolution coming up.
You
Let's
gotta
build on that. Let's
you got to go hard. They got
exact.
to they got to kill each other, dude.
You got
This
to
is a blood feud.
you got to look at it as, if I'm Jade and I'm helping her, guiding her through this match, I got to tell her, you got to look at it as Naomi just clocked you in the back of the head. Let's just say you would have stumbled, Jade, and then your neck goes into that case right there. And now your fucking $1 million baby just laying there on the ground, not being able to move your legs anymore, no more arms. Oh, I'm paralyzed. What if she could have took money out of your mouth, man?
Yep.
Like,
Food out of your baby's mouth. Yep.
get into that. Get
You got
into
to get
that.
mad.
Get you would have lost your softball team, your women's professional softball team, because, well, we got to worry about you and the rest of your life. Tap into that. Do the Michael Jordan, make up an enemy. Go into
Yep.
battle, because we know that it's there, Jade. Now everybody's given you enough time. Now it's your turn to pull yourself up and show us what you got. And that's where I'm at with Jade right now.
I like it. I mean, yeah, you got to. I love it. When you said you got to find that enemy, you have to dig within yourself and create that chip on your shoulder. She tried to take food out of your baby's mouth. She tried to take your livelihood. Like, some of the greats pulled inspiration from just having the chip on their shoulder, from absolutely nothing. And I think that's a mentality, man. That's most definitely a mentality.
If she pulled a Shane Douglas, and the next time we see her in the center of the ring, and she's got that crown, and she chucks that crown to the ground, and she's like, "It doesn't fucking matter. I'm ready to murder. I'm with you. There's your emotion. Show me
Yeah.
that shit."
And you know what? Just for that very reason that you just said, that I absolutely agree with, is why I say that might be true. And the reason I say that that might be true is because she has a match. This match is either August 2nd or August 3rd. If for whatever reason this woman hears the sound of our voices and gets in her mind that she wants to turn it up, that she wants to create that chip, that she wants to make this match that she's going to have with Naomi at Evolution 2 a banger, show us a different side. We don't want to see that pretty cleaned up, perfect version of Jade. I want to see Jade get down and dirty. We watch ECW every single week. I want to see you. If it's no holds barred, we got to see no holds barred. I want to see
Yes.
fighting in the crowd. I want to see weapons used. I want to see y'all go backstage, ringside, everything. Give me that. Make me believe for that possibility that she could turn it up and we could see the evolution of Jade Cargill in the coming weeks and she grows into what we know that she needs to be leading up into SummerSlam. For that possibility, for that potential is why I say that might be true.
Man, that's a bold prediction, my friend.
It
I
is.
know it.
She's got
I
a
know
big
it.
hill to climb, but
I know it.
I would love to see it.
I agree with you. There is a big hill to climb, no doubt about it. But just based off, she's this is one of her last chances for me personally,
Mhm.
where I'm going to ride off of potential because that's what I'm basing my pick off of is potential, not things. Of course, if I'm going off of things that I've seen, it's easy, but I'm not basing things off of what I've seen. I'm basing it what I think I could possibly see, and for that reason is why I made that decision.
No, I
I
got you.
like I like what Lou was saying in the chat here. He's like we need that bitch show Jade. Yeah,
Yeah.
we need it. We need that. You get it, man. You get it. So I that's where I'm at with it. Hopefully we can see something shake, but we will see as the weeks go on. We're gonna move on because this is, of course, the Saturday night main event edition, and Evolution edition of That's True, That Might Be True, That's Ridiculous. And you guys can catch us here on YouTube. We are also on Twitch and on Facebook. Make sure you guys follow our Discord. If you're not in there, get in there because it's starting to get pretty lively. Our conversations at live shows, they're getting good. Keep bringing in your thoughts, your opinions. We'll bring it up on the show as we talk. And Saturday Night Main Event is coming up. And one thing that I think we're all in agreement with is, damn, it's going to be Gunther versus Goldberg for the World Heavyweight Championship. And you know what, guys? I told this to my son, and I'm going to bring it here on the show right now before I present the statement here. I'm scared. I'm truly scared. Because if it were any other legend caliber talent, I'd be like, yeah, they're losing. Yeah, they're going to get choked out and then maybe ride off into the sunset or whatever, whatever. I'm scared because this is Bill Goldberg. This is not just any other legend caliber talent. This is a guy that for some reason this company has a massive boner for him, and they let him do things like defeat the fiend. Let him walk out of this company, let him do all these crazy things and still be behind him, even though he's proven time and time again he can't go in the ring. He needs to be carried. I mean, this is a guy that can barely do anything movement wise anymore, and we're still presenting him like this is 1997. I don't understand it in the slightest bit, but this is supposed to be his retirement match. But truly, I am scared because of the decisions that they make when it comes to this man. And I'm going to start with voice here since I started with Grun on the last one. There's a strong possibility, or let's say by the end of Saturday Night Main Event, Bill Goldberg will be hoisting the World Heavyweight Championship. That's true. That might be true. Or that's ridiculous.
That better fucking be ridiculous.
Oh my God.
I pff, I can't. No. What's going on? What have we done where we're even in this
Have I
conversation?
stepped into a parallel fucking universe or something?
I mean, it's blowing my mind because first off, Bill Goldberg sucked back then. Bill Goldberg sucks now. Bill Goldberg will suck after he's dead. He sucks. That's just Bill Goldberg. That's what he does. He sucks. I never understood the infatuation with this guy. I was happy when Scott Hall shocked him with a cattle prod. I was
I remember that. Oh my God, I
It
remember
was
that.
fantastic. I was one of the only people in that living room watching it that was cheering. When Raven dropped toe hold him into a chair and he looks up and half of his tongue has a big gash in it because he bit his tongue. I loved that. I thought that was fantastic. Um, I don't understand. This is like the Trish Stratus thing. What the fuck are we doing? I don't care if Bill Goldberg's son hasn't seen him wrestle. There's streaming services, there's DVDs, there's VHSs. You can fucking find anything you want to go into a dark room, pull your pants down, jerk off to your bald ass, lame ass dad, fucking destroying careers of some of the greatest to ever fucking lace them up. Fuck Bill Goldberg. Fuck this main event. I hope Gunther becomes a crazy son of a bitch, and he actually he tries to just make a statement at the hands of Bill Goldberg. I'm so goddamn annoyed that my summer has to be talked about Bill Goldberg. This was supposed to be a voice summer, and it's turning into let's talk about fucking Bill Goldberg.
You know what I'm afraid of though, for real? Like I'm for real afraid of
What's that?
that by mistake he's gonna legit hurt Gunther.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
And if you do that, bro, I don't care. Like, I don't care what anybody thinks about Gunther right now. The way we're going to look at Gunther in like 15, 20 years is that he was one of the best in ring to do it. That's how we're going to talk about Gunther. And if you cut that short, I'll be pissed, bro.
You
I
should
will
be.
be pissed because I enjoy Gunther for what he is now. Like I understand there's a lot of people who don't like Gunther. They think he's boring and this and that. Gunther is everything I like. Just straight up wrestling machine, and
Yeah.
I enjoy watching that. So I enjoy, but I understand that people won't appreciate him until years down the line. Like people talk about, oh well, Dean Malenko was so great, he was so awesome, he was this and he was that. You thought he was boring back in
Nope.
'96. I thought Dean Malenko was fucking awesome back in '96. I just enjoy guys like that. And I would be so pissed if Bill Goldberg did a kick wrong or did a suplex. He couldn't get him up all the way, and he ends up legitimately hurting one of the greatest in-ring talents in this current generation.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm there with you.
Am I crazy for thinking that?
No, you're not. You're not crazy for any of the thoughts you've thrown out about this match because it's within the element of happening. And you're right. This company has a fucking Viagra boner for fucking Bill Gold.
It's weird, bro.
And they
It's
never even
weird.
had him when he was making money.
That's
You
what
had
I'm.
him when he
It's
was done and washed
it's
up.
weird, bro. It's so weird. Like I get it. I understand. Even I was in there too because I was like, yeah, the baby face. Yeah, Goldberg is awesome. Until I started actually understanding wrestling. That's a whole different conversation. But he was heavily protected in WCW, heavily protected, and they made a killing off of this man's name. I'm not saying that they didn't, but when he came over to WWE, they couldn't even figure out what to do with him. They couldn't get his ego in check because everybody in WCW telling him that he was the best thing since sliced bread, and then he had to actually go to a company where he actually had to wrestle, and his ego took a big blow. And now for some reason we're still going with this guy. He cannot be making the company that much money. He just can't.
No, I agree with you. I don't know. Do they have something signed up for his kid? Is this the
That's a good maybe
is he
because
on
his
some type of contract?
they're probably gonna put him on some NIL thing. I bet you $1 million. That's what it is.
But
They're wanting to keep him around and trying to do right by him so they can get his kid. And that's not the first time WWE has done any of this. They made stuff right with the Steiners. Look who's there doing well. Breaker. It's not the first time. It's not gonna be the last time. Nepotism
no,
way too real in professional wrestling.
very true, very true. But sometimes it gets knocked out of the park, as in Braun.
Yeah, true. You're
You
right.
know,
You're
and
not
then
wrong.
what's
You're
coming
not
up
wrong.
after Breaker is supposed to be a little even more than Braun. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I hear
it's
you.
interesting, but I don't know. I don't know if it always works
It's
out.
not the guy we want to see. Bill
Well,
Goldberg's not the guy we want to see.
exactly. I honestly would love to see if we're gonna go older wrestlers. Why not give us Devon and then have Devon's sons
Ooh, his
fucking
twins.
interrupt that? Yeah, why not? If we're
Oh,
willing to give Goldberg a lame ass this at the possibility of his son touching a ring, Why are we not
Right.
doing the same with Devon?
And Devon's kids are established in the Indies, by the way.
And Devon can work safe.
Yep.
Mm.
I don't know, man. I hear you. I hear you. I got no answer for it. But we do have to move on here because I got to move on to Grun. Once again, bro. Like I said, I'm scared about the possibility of Goldberg being champion at the end of the night. Do you think it's gonna happen? That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
You know what? I'm going to take the very unpopular opinion of agreeing with Joshua Joseph. That is absolutely goddamn motherfucking ridiculous. Okay? And I'm sorry you guys are going to have to bleep that when we make it a clip, but I'm sorry, that's absolutely ridiculous. It cannot happen. Goldberg, look, again, I'm 31. I started watching wrestling in 2005. I had only heard of
Mm-hmm.
the name Goldberg. I only heard of Sting. I only heard of all these WCW wrestlers, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know anything about them. And so when I saw Goldberg debut in WWE or return to WWE in like whatever it was, the 2010s, whenever, I
Right.
thought that was amazing, crazy, because I thought Goldberg was never going to return. That was what I was told for years.
Yeah.
But guess what? All I know now is that Goldberg has a contract, and he has been, and it's supposed to be his last contract. This is match. It's supposed to be his last match with the WWE. Once he completes that match, contract is basically over. It is done. He no longer needs to wrestle for WWE. The only thing I can think of is that, like you guys said, it's Goldberg's ego. Goldberg wanted a championship match against one of the big up and coming stars in WWE, and unfortunately, Gunther is the only one who might be able to survive a Goldberg botch. And I
Well,
and and I understand that there are a lot of people that don't like the word botch, and I get that. But this is Goldberg. Goldberg, correct me if I'm wrong. The one of the wrestlers you guys are referring to when Goldberg injured and ended somebody's career, that was Bret Hart, wasn't it?
It was Bret Hart.
Grun.
It
Mm-hmm.
was Bret Hart. Man, that one always stung because I always was a huge fan of Bret. His in ring work, man. And I think I've said it before on this show. Like, could you imagine if roles were reversed and it was Goldberg who just was like done, his career was done, and we was able to have uh, Bret Hart well into his 50s. I think that Bret Hart would still be able to give decent matches into his 50s. Like, I'm not saying 5-star classics or anything like that, but if he were to stay in shape and like, be like Nunzio. Nunzio was just on NXT like late last year and he still could go with it on the mat. You don't forget that stuff. Technical wrestlers are technical wrestlers as long as their body can go. So I think that that would be interesting, but man, it's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. We don't need that. Man, Goldberg robbed us of Bret Hart versus Kurt Angle. Man, don't get me going, Daniel Garcia. Shout out to you, bro, over there in Puerto Rico. We appreciate you. But man, that's ridiculous. Don't give the man this title. For what reason? The title shouldn't even be on the line if this is your retirement match. If this is your confirmed last match, why are we doing it with the title on the line?
They
That's just crazy.
they want to convince people that there's a chance Goldberg might win. That's all. That is
I
it.
don't like it.
But you could do that without the title.
You
You
sure
could.
could. You sure could. You definitely could. It is what it is. That's what we're getting. But I say it's ridiculous. I think that at the end of the day, Goldberg needs to go down. He needs to get choked out or whatever. They're gonna try to make him look strong, so he'll probably take a bunch of power bombs and a bunch of splashes and stuff from Gunther before he ends up getting choked out and maybe passing out or whatever. But then expect when he comes to, they're gonna be like, oh, he's in the ring. They're gonna bring his family out there in the ring, and it's gonna be a super special moment. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. Hopefully that's all we get, because I do not want that man raising the title at the end of the night. And man, if they do it though, and especially if Seth Rollins don't cash in and they end the night with him as champion, there's going to be a lot of pissed off people, including myself. So I'm not saying they're gonna do it. I'm just saying I'm scared.
Yeah, I agree with you. I
I'm
really
not saying I don't want to see that. I do not want to see that man hold that title at all. So, man, it's just an interesting thought. But we do got to move on here because we got other questions here that I got to ask as far as that's true, that might be true, that's ridiculous. Only a few more here, but, I got to go back to Evolution real quick because we have a match that I've been saying that's going to happen. And honestly, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of excited about it. And that's the triple threat match for the Women's IC Championship. Becky Lynch, the champion, defends against Bayley and the up and coming Lyra Valkyria. And, I've really been thinking about as far as what I said earlier, as far as like Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss having to find their way in the mid card. You can't be top girls anymore; those spots are taken. You got to have a women's mid card, especially since we have women's mid card championships now. And I see the possibility of this feud or what this has turned into as far as a triple threat. And then I look over on SmackDown and I see the hard pivot that they made. They realized that they made a mistake with Zelina Vega being the United States champion. That did not work. They hard pivoted out of that with Julia. They really presented Julia in a positive light, I think, made her look dangerous and made her look like she's going to be a legitimate United States champion. So for me to say that, I want to say this. The women's mid card is stronger than it's ever been. That's true. That might be true. Or that's ridiculous. Grun, what do you think?
I am going to say that is true. Talent, a potential, ability, charisma, overall, the mid card for the WWE women's division, the mid card is the best it's ever been. Now, now that does not necessarily mean that we are seeing it in the way it is booked. I think the booking could definitely be improved, but I'm not going to sit
Mhm.
here and say that these women don't have the potential.
I like that. I like that. I definitely see the progression of the women's mid card on both shows, whether it be, like I said, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte having to be like, you know what, we can't be in that spot anymore. We have to go to a different spot. Julia being the United States champion, WrestleMania main eventer Becky Lynch and multiple time champion Bayley is now in the mid card with up and coming Lyra Valkyria. Everything Chelsea Green is doing to not only develop herself in the mid card, but also the Secret Hervis. I see a lot of strong things going on in the women's mid card, and I think that it shows good possibility for what the women's main event scene could be like if these women could grow enough as an act to get to that point. But my thoughts now are going to be going over to Voice. He's going to give us his thoughts. The women's mid card is stronger than it's ever been. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
well, I mean, with the amount of work that the women's division has been putting in together as a whole over the past couple years, it's definitely true. It's the strongest it's ever been. There's not a spot that you can't find in the division where you can find somebody who matches your likes for wrestling. I mean, if you like a more studied match where you're going to have more locks and holds and suplexes, we got Bailey. And she's thriving in the mid card. Isn't
Hmm.
that's spectacular for a veteran of that caliber to understand where they're where they're at on the role of the team. That makes your longevity even more. That
A
makes
hundred
it to
percent.
when you finally make it back to the indies, if you ever want to do that, or you want to go the convention route, people want to see you. You're not, there's I look in the future and I see people like Charlotte, and I don't think she's going to thrive in the mid card. I hope she does. I
Hmm.
hope she becomes somebody who we're looking at matches and we're like, damn, Charlotte's U.S. title championship match, that was banger. It was such a banger. She did
I
such a good
love
job.
that thought. I like
Yeah,
that thought.
I want to say those things, but as it sits right now, I'm not able to say those things, and I'm not going to say those things until it's proven, because I
Sure.
do I do think a lot of the women right now that are in the main card, the upper level. Um, they're doing fantastic work.
Hmm.
Congratulations to them. They're keeping stories going. But that mid card, there's a lot brewing there, and it's just getting better and better and better. And like if they do add a Britt Baker in there, you can throw her
Hmm.
mid card, and she's just gonna eat and eat and eat. Imagine Britt Baker versus Alba Fire. Come on,
Ooh.
come on.
Very good.
That would be a good match. Or even Chelsea Green. The way Britt can work with more comedic characters, I fucking
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I like your thoughts there. I'm with you guys. I say that's true. For all the reasons you guys have been saying, and even what the Lou is saying here, Lou always brings them some great points. Veterans thriving in the mid card and newer talent doing great in the main event spots. Yes, sir. That's exactly. You get it. You get it, Lou. You absolutely get it because that's exactly what we are seeing here. It's and you know what? I'm calling for it now. I think there's a possibility in the next year we could see a really good Kyrie Sane women's IC title run.
I can see it.
I think
I
it'd be
think
awesome.
I think it's time to start putting that in the air because we all know Kyrie Sane can wrestle. They're kind of presenting her in a different way. You know, she came back and there was that situation where I think it was, yeah, Zoe Stark got hurt and then she had just came back and she wasn't supposed to eat the pin because that was her return. Zoe was supposed to eat the pin, you know, but she got hurt, and Rhea Ripley ended up having to pin Kyrie Sane because that's what happened. And I think that they're gonna give that back to Kyrie Sane. I think they're going to put Kyrie Sane in a spot where it's like, hey, just give us some time to present you in the right light, and we'll give you something. I do think a Kyrie Sane mid card title run is coming. I truly do.
I mean, honestly, what they're doing with her right now is fantastic. She is
I
being presented as one of the top women right now in the mid card, and I love it.
I enjoy it as well. I do. I think I think it's going to be great if they continue to develop the women's mid card division the way they have. It's going to give a lot of opportunities to a lot of great talents. And speaking of a great talent that we talked about earlier, that you know, with a lot of thoughts about him, he's going to be going into a match as Drew McIntyre. He's going to be going up against Randy Orton at Saturday Night Main Event. But you know, some weird things are going on with Randy because we've seen a more jovial, more in touch with the fans, Randy Orton in the last couple years. It's been great. It's been such a great ride to see a babyface Randy Orton for sure. But man, I got to tell you, some of the stories that they're looks like they're telling right now. Could we go back to the apex predator? Could we get back to that point? And it seems like all that's centered around Cody and Cody targeting his back. And then, of course, like we had said, Randy Orton, he hesitated on the punt. And I think that he's regretting that hesitation. So I want to say this, I want to bring this up here. In the next few weeks, Randy Orton is going to turn heel. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous. Voice, your time, man.
That might be true. The reason I say that is because look at this. Look at the John Cena farewell tour. He's proving that you can completely switch it up and still be a top draw in
Yeah.
your retirement year. I don't know if you guys know this, but AJ Styles just signed a 1 year extension. Uh, Next year, 2026, that's his last year.
Whew, man.
Why do we not have another heel Orton versus AJ Styles match? Now we can get to there, and we can get there and tell a story that shows Randy Orton in the best light that Randy Orton is. We just got a nice little run of Randy Orton appreciating the crowd, loving the fact that they're loving him and taking in those moments. Do that. Fantastic. But now it's time. You're at the nipping at the heels of passing John Cena for world titles. It would be interesting if they, within a 2 to 3 year span, made Randy Orton 18.
I mean, with a good heel run, presenting him in the right light, and the fact that Randy is still in the shape that he's in at this point, we could really get another monster Randy Orton heel. I think there's one big major main event run in him that could span over the course of the next 2 years. I think he's built in that way, man. I mean, look at him. He's still smooth in the ring. He understands it. He's, I mean, he's Randy Orton, man. Need I say more? I think there's a strong possibility where him being on top as a major heel one more time for a 2 year span could most definitely be in conversations. But I got to throw it over here to my man Grun. And the next few weeks, Randy Orton is going to turn heel. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
Uh, Damn. I think that might be true. I can definitely see it because you know what, WWE right now they need some good heels because while John Cena he is a great heel in the sense that he gets people to buy tickets when he shows up, but beyond that, like there aren't that many diabolical heels, like pure heels. Seth Rollins, he is giving off the presence that he is the things he is doing is to benefit the WWE and to benefit the fans. But he is still being very heelish. There is no pure heel right now. Gunter, you could maybe argue that, but at the same time, like you can kind of justify his motivations. He wants to set the bar so high that no one else can reach it. But if someone does, then that just challenges him to step up more where Randy Orton has always been the purest form of a heel, the greatest level. This is Vegeta at his most evil. I love it.
I like it.
Wow.
I like it. I do. You know, it's crazy. And you said Vegeta, right?
Yep.
I there that comparison with John Cena and Randy Orton being Goku and Vegeta has been there for years and years and years. If you're deep into like you like Dragon Ball but you also like wrestling, those comparisons have always been made. So yeah, that's big. I think Randy Orton. Yeah, yeah. I think I think I'm with you guys though. I think that might be true. I think that Randy Orton has had a blast being a babyface, and we've all seen it. I mean, I see the joy, like straight up, forget all the wrestling stuff for just one quick second. When he comes out to the ring now and hears the crowd chanting, singing his song and everything, and showing him that respect of a career, well given and well made. I look at him, man, and I just see pure joy, bro. I see a guy who's fought demons and had issues and, all that stuff. I just see a man with pure joy when he comes out. So I've enjoyed it. But man, there's just that wrestling fan in me that misses that diabolical son of a bitch. He tried to kill John Cena with with pyro. He kissed Stephanie McMahon in front of Triple H, her husband, while he was shackled after he had just DDT'd her. This is a sick, twisted bastard. He's shitting people's gym bags. This is a sick, twisted bastard. like. I listen, if I can get that for the last 2 years and maybe he organically pivot into, now we're like kind of how Flair was. Like Flair, we just kind of was like, we love you because of the shit that you do. You know what I'm saying? That was a lot of what Ric Flair's last few years was, is that he was still low blowing people and sticking his finger in their eye and everything like that, gouging their eye. But people loved it. You know why? Because it was just Ric Flair. And I think that if we get a evil son of a bitch, diabolical Randy Orton for the last 2 years to where he does sick, twisted things, and then maybe after closer to the end, he kind of turns it down or whatever and just does kind of minor heel stuff, and we're like, oh, well, that's just Randy. Like it could be a really great closeout to his career. So yeah, give me that heel run, and let's just make it great. Let's see him completely leave Cody Rhodes a bloody mess, and I'm here for it, man. I most certainly am. But we got to move on because I got one last statement here before we ride off to the sunset. Call this a really great episode. We're talking about a man by the name of Seth Rollins, who is the holder of the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's had one of the greatest cash-ins of all time, the heist of the century, as it were, when he cashed in, made it a triple threat match at WrestleMania between himself and Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns became champion, and we all know what happened after that. He now once again holds the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he went all the way down to Saudi Arabia, and he made it clear to everybody, Gunther specifically, that he wasn't there to cash in on John Cena. He was just there to make sure CM Punk didn't win anything. So I think he made it perfectly clear that his intentions are towards the World Heavyweight Championship. We talked about the haunting thought that Goldberg could end this night as champion, but we do have to have this conversation that could this happen? Could we be at the point where he decides to cash in and take it in that moment? Seth Rollins, by the end of Saturday Night Main Event, is the new World Heavyweight Champion by cash in. Grun, that's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
Oh man. If I'm gonna say that might be true, I'm on the fence about it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
if look, I the only way I see this happening is if they actually have Gunther lose the title
Mm-hmm.
to Goldberg. Then I see Seth Rollins furious, livid that Goldberg beat Gunther and that Gunther allowed himself to be defeated by the old broken down Goldberg. He sends Bronson and Braun in to basically murder Goldberg and
Decimate him.
decimate him. Seth is in a suit. He cashes in, pins him without even doing the stomp, just to insult the memory and the legacy of Goldberg. But then you kind of turn them babyface. That's pretty much what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah, because people are gonna pop for that. I mean, I mean, if this is any type of wrestling crowd, people are gonna pop for that. So it's a weird position. I agree with you. Voice, where are you at? Seth Rollins, new champion by the end of the night. He cashes in on either Gunther or Goldberg. That's true. That might be true, or that's ridiculous.
I want to say it's ridiculous because I think it's a waste of his cash in. We know Seth he's memorable in his cash ins, and to me, you like we talked about, you're already doing too much for this whole weekend.
Mm-hmm.
To add that in, you're taking away from something that could happen at SummerSlam. You're taking something that could happen at the go home show of Raw. Something I don't want it to be, because come on, let's be honest. Saturday Night Main Event is supposed to be the gimmick event that we
I
enjoy.
know.
It's
I
supposed to be
know.
the fun. Let's have some fun. We have Jesse Ventura, doing his thing on the microphone. Woo, woo,
Yep.
woo. Look at all these old people that we still have around. They haven't died yet. That's what we're supposed to be enjoying. Not, is Seth gonna cash in? That's fucking ridiculous. Why the fuck are we even defending a title on this show? It should be just fun. It should just be, um, but if they do go that route, and there is a cash in, and it is Seth saving us from Goldberg, you can do it in a way that the fans aren't going to pop. The fans are going to be, oh, please stop. You can do this in a way. I mean, I know I'm throwing out a big bait here, and that would involve, Goldberg's family being able to act. And if you see Goldberg, that's not fucking possible. So, I mean, destroying Goldberg, like how many tsunamis do you think Goldberg could take? I would like
Give
to
him
know.
Give him 12.
There you go. So let's say he gives them 12, and then there's two 30-mile-per-hour spears, and
Yep.
then the sun gets in there, draping himself over
Oh my
Bill.
God, the visual. And then hold
Exactly.
on, let me help you out here. Let me help it because I see where you're going. And then maybe they're like his son gets in the ring and he's like, stop, stop. So he drapes himself over his dad to try to get him to stop. And then Bronson Reed tsunamis him anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
Yeah,
and then to
that's
capitalize
good.
it off, you slide that briefcase right under the son's head, and Seth maybe does a stomp. And bye bye, Goldberg. No more wrestling matches. We ain't gonna give you no more contracts. You done here. So I think there's a way to do it to make it look
There's a there's a way. Oh yeah.
extremely
That's
horrible to the fans.
to
But
where they won't pop for it. Oh
I
yeah, I'm
don't
with you. I'm
I
behind
don't
you.
want to see it. I want to see Gunther just do what Gunther does and teach Goldberg a lesson, and it be done over with. We enjoy a fun time. Jesse gets lost on the mic in his storytelling, and we have a good time. That's what I want. That's what I want.
For sure. For sure. Listen, I'm gonna say that might be true, just because I love what you just laid out there, as far as like just a mauling of Goldberg in front of his family, and then. But I'm a sick guy. I mean, whatever. Like I watch ECW every week,
Yeah.
but like then his son draped himself over there. Then just a big massive tsunami on both of them. Just, I mean, if you want me to really, for real, look at this faction between whatever they're calling it, there's rumors that it's called the Oracle. I do not know. But whatever this faction is, if you want me to be like, oh, dang, all right, you got me, you do that. That's just me personally. That's just me personally. What I think will sooner happen because of the spot that WWE seems to be in, where it seems like they're playing it safe and not really doing things like that right now. What they will sooner do is maybe they try to make it look like Goldberg's gonna have a valiant effort, but then they ended with Gunther putting him to sleep or whatever, and yada yada yada, and then what happens is they maybe do a thing where it's like, oh, he's here in his hometown. Let's give him a celebration. Then what's going to happen is then Seth Rollins' music is going to play. They're going to come out and tease a cash in, and then they're going to throw like Goldberg out of the ring or something. Then start to do the cash in on Gunther. Then Goldberg feels disrespected with the way that they're treating him, so he comes in, stops the cash in, and blah blah blah. The heels scatter and get out of the ring because super powerful Goldberg is now helping out Gunther, and then they have a moment in the ring where Gunther puts over Goldberg and blah 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 yada yada yada. That's the safe route that WWE will likely take. I mean,
If his knees hold up.
if his knees hold up. I mean, but thinking about the direction of where WWE is right now, that's not too far fetched, is it? I
No,
mean,
you're right. I could see that playing out exactly. I can see us watching it Saturday and you saying, "Told you." So yeah,
and me still saying that was awful and boring.
yeah. I mean, the ways that they can make this interesting, none of us want.
That's
None of us want.
that's the weird spot that we're in right now, bro. That's the weird spot that they're in right now because this Saturday night main event, they've made an event that wasn't supposed to really mean something in a way that we don't want it to mean something. And I
Yeah,
realize exactly what I just said, and I know you guys understand exactly what I'm saying. They made it mean something in a way that we don't want it to mean something.
yeah. Totally agree with you on that one.
So that's where we're at. I mean, this is where we're at right now, guys. We're at a slow period. SummerSlam is coming up, but man, these PLEs are coming up, and I think with as more PLEs, the quality has potential to drop. But I feel like this episode was still a great episode of In Your House. We talked about everything. We were raw and real about it, which is what this podcast was always supposed to be based on. If like there was times where we've been talking super highly about WWE, a lot of energy, and we love it, and that's great. But man, one thing about me is that If there's something to be critiqued, I come here, I critique it. It's not out of hate. It's not try to get clicks and views or whatever. It's because of real passion for wrestling and the love that I have for it. So yeah, if stuff's not hitting me in a way that needs to hit me, we're going to talk about it. And we talk about it every single week here at In Your House. It's been a great episode. Thanks to my guys here that have been riding with me for this last 2 hours of talking about all of this. So that's why I always give them the opportunity to plug anything that they need to plug. I'm going to throw it to my man, the blue-eyed villain, the Grunmeister. Where can they catch you and everything that you're doing?
You can catch me at twitch.tv/Grunmeister every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That is where I do my SmackDown preview review show. Be sure to also get into Discord. Contact us if you need help getting in.
Yes. We want to get you guys involved in all the shows, all the discords, everything. So if you're having issues with any of that, let us know. We'll all help you out in any way that we can. And man, as far as somebody who helps out in any way that he can, he's been producing the shows quite a bit lately. That's my man, the voice, Josh Joseph. He does a lot of things here at In Your House. Where can they catch you and everything you're doing, man?
All right, so if you enjoyed what you seen here, a little snippet of me and Grun, you can catch us on the Monday Night Raw preview review show where me, the blue-eyed villain, and the Chaos Goblin, we go live and we give you our thoughts on Monday Night Raw. What has happened? What is happening? What entertains us? What might entertain you? We can all join and discuss it, and it'll be fun. So come join us there. That is Mondays at 7 p.m. Outside of that, you can join us for the ECW watch along. That is a fun time. That is me and Howse going back in time and watching ECW. Next week is going to be a fantastic one. It is November to Remember time, and it is 1999, and we are going there. And we want you to be a part of it. So we have an opportunity. We don't know how we're going to do this. It might be a trivia question. But the way to find out what we're doing, how we're doing it, is to be a part of our Discord. We're going to give you an opportunity to join us for a match on November to Remember and watch it all the way through and hear your insights. ECW, we want to hear what you have to say. We want to see what makes you happy about the promotion that we love. So join the Discord. I assume Howse will figure this out by at least tomorrow, so we can get that in there. Like I said, it might be a trivia question on ECW. It might be a trivia question for the watch along. So you need to be paying attention to what we do in the Discord. So that is Thursdays at 5 p.m. So come join me and Howse, and that'll be a blast. Outside of that, it's a Sunday house party. You know what we do. You just seen it. You've seen what we do. You've seen what we're capable of. So come join us. Come be a part of what we do. We absolutely love everyone who joins us. And always remember,
we are at war, but the only way to win this war is to be as understanding, non-biased, and politically correct as possible.
That's my man, the voice, Josh Joseph. Check out everything that he is doing, producing a lot of great content. And then, of course, me. You guys already know where I'm going to be at. Doing my thing right here at In Your House. And we're getting some of our shows on the podcast version now. I started that process yesterday. I got some more work to do to get our shows on the podcast version and keeping up with that. But we appreciate you guys following as much as you do. You can catch me on Wednesday. Normally I'm with the amazing Annie O'Neill, but this past Wednesday I did a really good episode with my son, and he really showed out. It was a fun episode, and you guys should definitely check that out. Most definitely check out our ECW watch along. Those are some of my favorite shows to do during the week, just because I don't mind. I like getting all analytical and talking wrestling and talking about the current vibes or whatever. But man, I really just enjoy sitting down and watching some ECW. It's a fun time. Like you said, we have November to Remember 1999. We're going to be watching that. How can you get involved? Get in the Discord to figure that out. And then, of course, here on Sunday, we talk all things wrestling throughout the week. I won't lie to you, ladies and gentlemen, this was kind of a slow week, but we got some big shows coming up. SummerSlam is on the way, and man, a lot of shows to look forward to as we go into the summer months. And that's what we're going to keep doing, is checking out those shows and then talking to you guys about them, because it's all part of the work. And that's HOWSE, and the W stands for work. So for the Grunmeister, for the voice, Josh Joseph, and the whole team here at In Your House. I'm Olakan, the Concept House, here to remind you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to hop on this bandwagon. Get on or get gone, because the household is still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day and a great rest of your week. Peace.
Yeah. In your house with Okan. Hey, Okan in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We is them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast just like cruiserweight action. In your house is the perfect distraction. Bumpers in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Swole.